Just got it.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to this platform acknowledged as Project 365. I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated, where we have the opportunity, the privilege, and the assignment to render hope, encouragement, and inspiration to you, our audience, and the whole wide world. Whoever watches, that's our job, to render hope, encouragement, and inspiration. Let me bring in my co-host.
Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. My name is Takira Swan, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. Before we bring on our beautiful, strong, amazing, talented guest, and I mean all those words, I just want to remind all of you to please go to our YouTube page, like, share, subscribe, share our videos, because with your help, we can share hope, encouragement, and inspiration across the entire world.
The entire world. We just love saying that, the entire world. Well, again, before we present our guest on today, I have something that I would like to share with you. It's always some type of thought or a scripture or something, but today is a thought. Your mental attitude is something you can control outright, and you must use self-discipline until you create a positive mental attitude. Your mental attitude attracts to you everything that makes you what you are today. When you think about it, get control of our mental attitude and think those positive thoughts, and cause those positive thoughts to go out in the atmosphere and bring back to you what you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to be, and everything falls into place with the help of the Lord. All right. Well, today, our guest today is Mrs. Michelle Addison Dennis. Dennis. Well, it's great. It's great to have the opportunity to celebrate other women and men, just people in general. It's good to celebrate other individuals. And today we want to celebrate Michelle for her accomplishments that she's already have achieved in her life. And one of the things is the fact that she's in the healthcare profession. And that is a challenge within itself. So we celebrate her for that. And not just that, she's a business owner and she has her own practice. So she's going to come today and share on the topic of being health conscious and what it takes, the drive and the consistency and the education and so much more that goes into one, being in the healthcare profession, as well as being a business owner. And today, thank you, Michelle, for accepting my invitation to come and join us on this platform, because I know you have great information to share, and not just head knowledge, but the experience of it all. And we're just appreciative of what you're going to share with us today. And you have the platform.
Thank you for having me today. I'm actually really, really honored to speak on your platform. So hopefully what I say will be encouraging to whoever is watching and an inspiration, because that's my goal too. So thank you for having me. You were talking about being health conscious, and I think, well, not that I think, I know that being health conscious is actually, your health affects every area of your life, emotionally, physically, spiritually, what have you. It affects everything that you touch, even your goals, your dreams, how you can dream. Your mind has to be healthy for you to dream healthily, for you to be able to draw from your imagination. You really need to be healthy to do that. And it takes more than just knowing or having an idea about health. You literally have to be health literate. There's a lot of health illiteracy in the world that I'm actually experiencing myself, being in the healthcare industry, that there's a lot of health illiterate people. And that just means that you really don't have the knowledge base to be able to really live a healthy life. So you can be one of the top executives of the world, but still have health illiteracy. You can be a janitor, you can be the lowest of the totem pole, if you will, and still not have, a health conscience or be health conscious. So a lot of times with healthcare providers such as myself, I'm actually an RN, a registered nurse. And I see that a lot of times we talk above people's heads because we went to school for this. So we use a lot of health jargon. We use a lot of, I would say, colloquialisms in the healthcare industry that the layperson would not be able to know or identify with. And so it goes over their heads. And a lot of times people don't want to identify the fact that they do have, or they do not have the health conscious mind, or they just don't have the health knowledge to be able to lead a more healthy life. And they don't want to admit that because they don't want to seem like they don't know, but they don't know. And that's why they end up in the hospital or sick. And there's, a lot of illnesses that can be prevented or preventable, but because we don't have the knowledge, the health knowledge, we just don't know how to go about getting the help.
And I know you have pursued this particular industry or profession for a moment, because to get to even just an assistant, that takes enough. And then let alone a registered nurse, and then having your own practice. So that is a lot. Talk about the drive and the persistence and the energy that's needed to pursue your hope, your dream, your passion.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Not everyone can say that their purpose and their vocation collide, and mine does. I'm very blessed in that my whole purpose, my design, what God created me to be, I actually get to live that out and it be my vocation. So I get paid for my purpose. Not everyone can say that. And I think you have to find, well, one, you have to find your purpose and your passion, and then you go from there. And because I know my passion is people, I knew, well, I'm not going to say that I knew nursing was for me, because I started out as a teacher major, or early childhood education, actually. That was my major. And then I switched to psychology. Then I went back to, maybe I should do early childhood education. And then my best friend at the time, she was working in the healthcare industry. And I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. And so I would say my purpose actually chased me down. I was trying to go here, there, and everywhere. And it was like, nope, you need to be here in the healthcare industry, make your mark there. And then I started out as a student nurse, which is a CNA. I was in nursing school, and I'm like, there has to be more. There has to be more than this. And for me, because there's nothing wrong with being a CNA, but for me, purpose is always driving me. So to do more. And so I decided to finish my degree, obviously, and sit for the NCLEX and became a registered nurse. I left the hospital. I did a little bit of rehab, working in a skilled nursing facility for a while. And then I stumbled upon home health. And that was like the light bulb moment. Like, this is what you need to do. You need to be in people's homes, their sacred space. That's where you will be the most influential. When you're in their private, most vulnerable space, and they can see you and hear your heart. They can see your passion and how you care for them. That's what you need to do. And so I did that for the last 8 years. I've been in home health. And again, working for somebody else, it limits you and what you can do.
Yeah.
And my goal is to create other leaders to affect the next generation of healthcare providers. I think leaders are not, what's the word? You're not a leader just because you lead a group of people. You're a leader by I'm sorry. You're a leader by how you other leaders. That's what I think a leader is. When you inspire other people and you influence other people and create other leaders. That's what a leader does. And that's what I aspire to be a leader and to inspire the next generation of leaders. And that's what keeps me going. Not just that, my family, my children, I see my children's future and I'm like, I need them to be the next generation of leaders too. Even if they do not go into nursing or healthcare or even take over my business at some point, they still have their business. It will still be there for them. It will still afford them the opportunity to be able to be whatever they want to be. And that's from the 23-year-old all the way down to the 11-year-old. So I do this for them.
Wow. Wow, that is so good. Have there ever been a time that you wanted just to give up?
Yes. Yes. I can't tell you how many times. Even probably this week already, and it's already only Monday. It's tough. It's tough. You lose a lot of sleep. You lose a lot of your social life at some point until you're able to get to the place where you can get all of that back. You got to put in the work first, put in the work, and then you'll start to see the manifestation of the seeds that you're sowing and the time that you're sowing, your talent that you're sowing. You'll start to see the manifestation of that eventually, but you have to put in the work. That's the key. You have to start and you have to stay there. You have to remain focused and until you see the manifestation of your dreams.
Definitely. So yeah, just stick to it.
Yeah,
you definitely have to stick with it, and especially if it is your passion, it's not going to be so easy. It's not just going to be handed to you. Like you say, you have to put in the work, hustle, do that thing, and it does take time to really build the empire that you really want, the entity that you want to work with now, as well as leave for your family, something to leave for your family. So it does definitely take work. Now, for individuals who it may not necessarily be in the healthcare field, but those that have to go to school or some type of education to get to where they want to be, can you speak to, if they don't have the money right now, where can they start? They know, and I'm really thinking about our culture who we have some smart kids out here. We really do. And even some of the kids that are on the street, whether they're young people, teenagers, even the kids back in the day, the kids, just like today, had gifts. But a lot of the adults did not see those gifts until they were like 30, 40 years old. And these kids have gifts. Smart kid, a child or preteen, two individual that come to mind that was on the platform, Madison Hamilton, a young lady, I think she was 10 or 11 or something like that. But she was so intelligent and wise for her age. Another, Jonathan Smith, I think his last name is Smith. Smart kid, a whip at what he does, and already has his YouTube channel and all of that. So I'm thinking we cannot wait until they're 25 and 30 years old. Grab these kids while they're young. So now, see, I've started talking. I forgot what my point was.
Where can we start, even if you don't have the money?
Thank you. Give them an idea as to where they can start.
Research. Knowledge is power. You have to read. A lot of times, there's a saying, if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book. Because we don't read. We have to read, do your research. And that's where you start, because a lot of times you will be able to uncover things that you can do that does not require you to have a whole lot of money. Prior to me getting married, for many years, I was a single mom, divorced single mother, trying to take care of my kids. And I'm like, I don't have the money. I don't have the money to start this business. I don't have the money to even go back to school. But a lot of times what I found out was that all you have to do is read and figure out what's out there that can help you, even if it's a little bit. Work on a little bit at a time. It took me a long time to be able to open my practice, because I had to research, how can I get this practice going? Because you can't just start a medical practice. You can't just go out here and say, you know what, I'm going to start taking care of patients. I'm going to start administering IVs. I'm just going to start doing it. You can't do that. You have to research the laws, the regulations in your state, and how you can get to the point where you qualify or you meet the criteria in order to start up your own business. Your business might require a business license, and that license might be predicated on the regulations or the policies and procedures that you have set forth for your business. And you need to start developing that prior to you soliciting a license from the state in which you're in, whether you're in the state of Maryland or whatever state you're in. So I would say start there, a lot of research, and also figure out what it is that you want to do. A lot of times, if you're like me, my mind goes every direction. I'm always thinking. And because I'm a thinker, and also I'm a creative, so my mind is always creating things. It's just always going and going and going. And I have to streamline it and say, you need to pay attention to this one thing. Get this out first. Is this what you want to do? What is it that you really want to do? Is that something that's a fly by night, or you're just like, oh, that would be cool? Or is it something that you're passionate about? Find that something that keeps you up at night. That's what you need to work on. That's what you need to start processing, allowing your mind to process and download a plan of your goals, map them out so that you can understand how you can make them come to fruition.
You can have a lot of thoughts in your head. And then, I mean, those thoughts can remain in your head for years, but until you put it down on paper, until you actually develop a plan, until you actually narrow your thoughts as to what you want to do, what your passion is, you're going to be all over the place. So I agree with that, to actually narrow your thoughts, and get a plan. We have to have a plan. We just can't go out there and do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So what is the name of your practice, and where are you located?
The name of my practice is called Wellsprings Home Health Care. And we are in Maryland. We service the state of Maryland, all counties in the state of Maryland, which I'm so proud of. It's been a long journey, and it's still manifesting. I actually just started admitting some of my first client I had maybe a year ago, but I'm still in the infancy and in the early stages of my business. I literally just went through licensure. It took a long time. I mean, with COVID, it set it back. But I'm here now. I'm finally fully licensed. The state of Maryland came out and reviewed my business, and they found no deficiencies. They found no errors, nothing that they could.
Wait a minute, now don't hop over that important part, because they came in unexpectedly with no appointment. Because usually when a business knows that they're coming, they clean up and they do whatever. But you had it all together anyway, so they still didn't find anything.
Well, I knew they were coming.
Okay.
Yes and no. They give you a roundabout date that they would be there. And then they call you like a few weeks before and say what time, well, what day they will be coming. And so the time is relative, but the day that they'll be coming. And but you still, even though you can prepare, you never know what they will find. And they at least always find at least one deficiency for which you can, write a plan of correction for. So that's not a deterrent. Even if they find a deficiency in your business, you always have the opportunity to correct it. They never just revoke your license or not give you a license because they found a deficiency. You have an opportunity to correct that. So don't allow that to be a deterrent. But when they came in, I work really, really hard because in my business and in my line of work, because people's lives depend on my care, I'm type A when it comes to that. So I really make sure that I am doing what I'm supposed to do when it comes to patient care, when it comes to documentation, when it comes to storing patients' records and files. And so I literally stayed up all night that night because I'm like, is this in place? And my husband can tell you, I did not fall asleep. I think I probably did lay down around 6 a.m. And that was maybe for an hour and a half, but I was up all night making sure and just double checking. Is this right? Is this right? Just going through with a fine tooth comb, every patient. Is this patient, every patient that I have, I went through all of their records. I went through my personal business files, office files, and all that stuff to make sure everything was correct.
And that's the way it's to be done. I mean, like I said, if you do A, B, C, that's good. Instead of A, D, F, and then go back to C, do it as it is supposed to be done accordingly. And then, you don't have to worry about those. It's amazing, though. It's amazing. I can imagine Darian go to sleep.
He was actually very helpful. He's like, "Hey, what do you need?" He stayed up with me. He stayed up.
That is so good. Look, newlyweds, that's so good. Oh, that is so good.
Don't tell me.
That's wonderful, though. That's wonderful. That's why it pays to marry the right person. It really does because you're a team. Mm-hmm. You're a team. But I tell you what,
your purpose or hinder you. And that is so important. It's so important to have someone on your team that can help you and see the vision with you and help you bring that vision to fruition. So.
Well, I'm just really excited that this vision has come to pass for you. I have a couple of close friends who are trying to do what you're doing, and I see the hard work and the struggle they go through. And so the fact that you've gotten where you are, not only as a woman, but as a woman of color, is such a commendable thing. So congratulations. If no one has told you lately, your hard work is definitely paying off. And I know it's just starting. So I know it's going to grow and be what you want it to be. You've said quite a few gems in here. So viewers, please go back and look at this broadcast. I'm so serious. Look at this broadcast, because even if you're not in the healthcare field, she said so many things to encourage and inspire you to really go after your passions. And to, like you said, you're so grateful that you get paid for your purpose. I think that's an awesome goal to aspire to, not just do something you love, but actually get paid to do it so that you can actually live in this world. So, and the first thing she told you to do was to research. So please listen to what she's saying. This is someone who's had a dream and worked hard, but also worked smart. So what better way to complete your dreams than to follow someone who's already laid out the blueprint for you and has done what she wanted to do. Another comment that you said was that you believe that a good leader creates other leaders. I think that's something that a lot of people do not acknowledge today. They always say, oh, to be a good leader, you got to be in the trenches and you do the work with, people who follow you. That's great. But if you don't help create leaders to take over, when you've moved on to something else, then what good of a leader have you been? So that's also just something to recognize. And lastly, you said stay focused. until you see the manifestations of your dreams. Guys, just hang in there. I know it can get rough. It's a lot of hurdles, that just come, especially if you have a great idea. Nothing great comes without challenges, so if you have a great idea that you say, I know I can do this, I know this can help people, of course you're going to have challenges. Don't get discouraged by it. Just keep going. If you get knocked down, get back up, create another plan, another route, and you can do it. Because even though Michelle's sitting here and she's like, oh, I've accomplished this, I'm telling you, you may not have seen her blood, sweat, and tears, but it was there, okay? And she stuck with it. Create that support group. She said her husband supported her when, it was rough and she had to stay up late. Create that support group and just keep going no matter what you do, even if you get delayed. Just keep moving. All movement is progress, just move forward. So I just really want to thank you so much for coming on our broadcast and giving those words of encouragement, because it's so good to see someone, a woman of color, just doing what she wanted to do, because we don't have a lot of that in the healthcare field. People are coming up though. It's gotten a lot better, but we still have miles and miles to go. So I just want to once again commend you, and then just thank you for coming and sharing your experience and journey with us.
Thank you so much, Takira.
Just before we go, one more time, Michelle, would you let us know the name of your practice and how, whether it's a website or a phone number or whatever, our audience can contact you to have your services?
Yes. So the name of the company is Wellsprings with an S, Home Health Care, and we service pediatric and the geriatric population in their home in all counties in Maryland. And you can visit our website at www.wellspringshhc.com. Again, that's www.wellsprings with an S, hhc.com. And then our phone number is 410-907-0622. And our fax is 667-239-1001. So you can reach us there Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Wonderful, wonderful. We wish you the best. We wish you guys blessings, that you will grow and grow and grow. Again, audience, we thank you so much for tuning in on today. This Project 365. You have a wonderful remainder of your week, and we shall see you tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Bye, everybody.